Today we are going to learn what it means to find the mean, median, mode, and range of a set of data points. Let's start with just by writing the definitions of all of these things. The mean is also the average. The first thing you do when you're finding the mean is you add all of your data points. Now remember, if you have positives and negatives, it's best to add all the positives together, all the negatives together, and then just add that one positive and negative together at the end. After you've added them together, then what you're going to do is take that total and divide it by the number of data points you have. You need to make sure you're checking if your answer is positive or negative when you're done. The second thing you're going to find is the median. The median is the middle data point. You have to make sure before you find the median, you have to put the data in order. Sometimes when you're finding the median, you're going to find that there's more than one point in the middle, because if you have an even number of data points, there isn't going to be an exact middle. If that's the case, if there's two numbers in the middle, you find the average of those two numbers by adding them and dividing by 2. The third thing we're going to be finding is the mode. Mode is the number that occurs the most. Now there can be more than one number for your mode. If something occurs twice and another thing occurs twice and everything else occurs once, then both of those numbers are going to be your mode. If everything occurs the same amount, then there's actually no mode. So if all data occurs the same amount, or the same number of times, the answer is no mode. Okay, the last one we have is range. Range is the difference between the highest and the lowest data point. So you need to remember that when we talk about the word difference, what you're actually doing is you're going to subtract the highest and the lowest data point, and that's going to give you the range of all of your data. All right, we're going to do one together, and then I'm going to give you another one to try on your own, and then we'll be done. So let's look at this example. If I give you 3, -10, -2, 13, and 11. Okay, so we're going to find the mean first, but truthfully, anytime we use data or work with this data in this way, you really do want your numbers to be in order from least to greatest first. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start and look, and I see -10 is my smallest, then -2, and then 3, and then 11, and then 13. So now they're from least to greatest, and it's easy for me to see the data that I'm working with. When I find the mean, I need to add all my data and divide by how many I have. So I'm going to start by adding my negatives first. So I have -10 and -2, and I know that that's -12. And I have 3, 11, and 13. I add 3 and 11, that's 14. 14 and 13 is 27. So I have negative 12 plus 27. I know that negative 12 plus 27, I'm adding numbers with different signs. So I subtract, I get 15, and give the sign of what I have more of. I have more positives than I have negatives. So that adds to positive 15. And then it says in the second step, you divide by how many data points you have. And I have 5 pieces of data, so I'm going to do 15 divided by 5. So with 15 divided by 5, I have 3. So I know that my mean is 3. All right, the median is the middle number. So when I look at this data in order, I'm just going to cross out my 2 end pieces until I find a middle. 2 there, 2 there, and I'm left with the middle. So it looks like my median is also 3. The mode is the number that occurs the most. And like we said, if nothing occurs more than anything else, then there is no mode. All of these numbers occur just one time. So there's no mode in this problem. And last but not least is the range. I take the biggest minus the smallest. So I have 13, which is my highest number, minus negative 10. I know I keep the same one, change to addition. The opposite of negative 10 is positive 10. 13 plus 10 is 23. When you think about it, that makes sense. To go from negative 10 all the way up to 13, you have a range of 23 numbers in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to give you another set of data points, and then I want you to try and figure this out on your own, and then come back and listen to the instructions. So here's our second example. If I give you negative 26, 39, negative 10, negative 10, 12, and 31. Okay, so try that out, and then come back and see how you did. All right, now remember, we like to start by putting things in order from least to greatest. So I would go negative 26, negative 10, negative 10, 12, 31, 39. If I'm going to start with the mean, I'm going to add my negatives. Negative 10 and negative 10 is negative 20. Negative 20 and negative 26 is negative 46. And then my positives. 31 and 39 is 70. Plus 12 is 82. And I know that there are 6 data points, so I know that all of that is going to end up being divided by 6. So if I have negative 46 plus 82, I am looking at positive 36. I was adding numbers with different signs. So I subtract the 2 numbers, and I give the sign of the bigger number, and that is 82, or there's more positives than negatives. So 36 divided by 6 is 6. So the mean of these numbers is 6. The median comes from finding the middle number. So if I look at this, it's a little bit different than what we did before. If I cross these out, these 2 cancel out, these 2 cancel out, and I actually have 2 numbers in the middle, negative 10 and 12. I have to find the middle of those 2 numbers. So I take negative 10 plus 12, and I'm going to divide by 2 because I'm basically finding the average of those 2 numbers. I know that negative 10 plus 12 is 2 because when you add numbers with different signs, you subtract and give the sign of what you have more of. And 2 over 2 is 1. So the middle of negative 10 and 12 is the number 1. Mode is the number that occurs the most. So in this problem, I did actually have a number that occurred more than one time, and that was negative 10. So the mode of this problem is negative 10. Again, remember, you can have more than one number as long as those numbers don't all occur that same amount of time. And the last part is the range. My biggest number was 39 minus my smallest number was negative 26. I change it to 39 plus 26, and I get an answer of 65. So now I have the mean, median, mode, and range of that set of data. Okay, time to try it out yourself. Good luck.